The problem for many of you is that you're in a relationship that you know very well is abusing you. You don't know where to stop or how to stop. Your faithfulness, loyalty, and devotion is blinding you and holding you in a situation that you know is not good for you. It's like you're in a cult. I've dealt with many people in cults that have been able to realize that they've been deceived and they're in a lie. The problem is trying to mentally break them away from the bond that they have in relation to their commitment, devotion, loyalty, and things like this to the situation. And this is what yous have done in the relationship. The person's let you down, they've let you down over and over again. It might be micro-incremental, and when you confront the issue, they reinstate themselves with a new vigor which doesn't hold. It's like somebody holding onto a steel grip that's got soap on it. They're going to slip, or like slipping on a banana skin. It's just going to reoccur. The problem's going to reoccur, and at the cost of your mental health. Now, for millenniums, people who have allowed themselves to be blinded from the life that they should be living now because of their faithfulness, loyalty, and devotion being used wrong. You see, faithfulness, loyalty, devotion, and these other premium characteristics that a lot of people haven't got these days are highly valuable. And you've got every right to put a good price on yourself, because if you're displaying these attributes and somebody's benefiting from them, then you have every right to say, well, hang on a sec, there's certain standards and behaviours that I'm willing to tolerate and not tolerate, and if you want to go down the negative side, you're going on your own. Because the superpower today, the big superpower, is when you're in a relationship and somebody starts undermining it by bad behaviour, the behaviours that are invaluable, that perish everything around them. People allowing too many people to get away with bad behaviour, and as a matter of fact, they're rewarding it instead of punishing it. Now, you don't have to punish somebody, you've just got to walk away. That's the superpower. You're able to detach in correspondence with the bad behaviour. You detach in correspondence with the bad behaviour. So what we do is we draw near to somebody via the love that we feel. We draw near, we get closer, we tell ourselves that we know this person and all the rest of it, when probably in the actual fact of it is we haven't given ourselves enough time to allow ourselves or the other person to really show who we are. Because once you relax and get comfortable, that's when the real person comes out. That's when Jack in the Box appears and Humpty Dumpty falls off the wall. Too many of us hold on to things that are no good to us, like the Bible says, can a man draw fire to his bosom and his clothes not be burned? There's one for you. Look that up in the Proverbs. Can a man draw fire to his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Well, the fact of the matter is no. And if you're in a relationship with somebody that's working on the deterioration of your mental health, rather than being a healthy support for you mentally and physically, then somebody's going to get hurt, and it's probably going to be you. I remember in 2019, I did kiting for a sport, the ocean kiting, and I organised that morning to have a walk with the woman I was married to at the time down by the waterfront. I went ahead of her and did my morning exercise, and we were to meet at 9:30, and this woman never showed up. Now I thought I knew this woman and we were just going to have a walk as per usual. And it's funny how circumstances can combine to bring a catastrophe. So I'd lost my phone the day before, it had broken, and I'd organised with a lady to pick up a phone at 11 o'clock, which was going to work in conjunction with the completion of the walk that I was going to have with my wife at that time. She never showed up. I had no communications. I didn't know where she was. And it caused some real serious problems in my mind. Cut a long story short, I gave up on her turning up, which was very out of character. I thought, oh, what have we got here? Or what's happened? You don't know if something's happened or what. I got the new phone, but I couldn't use it because I didn't have the SIM card. So I made my way home, and as I was coming into the street, this woman, I'm going to call her a woman because at this point, as far as I was concerned, she wasn't acting like a wife, that's for sure. She was acting like somebody I didn't know. See what I mean? After 5 years, I didn't know who this person was, what's going on here, and she was pulling out of the street. And I said, well, what happened to the walk? And she goes, I went and bought a dress. And I've gone, who on earth is this person? What's happened here? Right, total disregard for any of the arrangements we had made. And so she said, I'm taking it back because I don't like it. I said, well, I'm going kiting. And I was angry, right? I was angry. I thought, who do you think you are treating me like this? So I went kiting, and I was out on the water, and I thought, oh no, there's something wrong with my mind. My coordination is just out. So I come in, and I was lowering the kite, and it got caught in a wind gust, and I had a terrible accident, otherwise known as a kite mare. And I got taken up, and I fractured my wrist and ankle, and life-changing accident, very serious accident. And this is what many of you take for granted. You might not be having a very serious critical accident because of the confusion and anxiety and sadness and unvaluable ways in which these people are treating you. But your mental health will be suffering existentially, terribly. And somewhere along the line, somebody's going to get hurt. Now, the problem with these sinful, narcissizing people, because they narcissize, they begin to devalue. They rust. Their value starts to rust and decay and erode. The problem with these people is you don't usually see it coming at the speed and the ferocity in which it can. So now I'm in hospital. I told this woman this accident has been a result of your negligence and disrespect and disregard to our arrangements. She didn't like that. And I look back and I go, I know how dangerous the narcissist, the sinner, and all these other people with personality traits that are dangerous are. Because in your genuineness, your loyalty, your faithfulness, and your commitment and determined destination to have a good relationship, these people are not going to allow you to have that for very long at least. And when they narcissize, when they become narcissistic, when they get really poor, all rationale goes out the window. All consideration to things that are right erode, and they erode very quickly. And these people just go into a time warp, a tunnel that you could never have comprehended in a million years. So what's the best thing to do? You've got to identify the reality of the abuse. Unless you can do that, you're wasting your time. You're not going to get anywhere. You have to identify the reality of the negligences and abuses, omissions and commissions of abuse that are affecting your mental health, be you male or female. Sin has no favor of gender. Once you've identified it, you've got to have the courage to say, no, I'm out. I've tried to rationalize, I've tried to mediate, I've tried to rehabilitate this relationship, and the other person or yourself is just unable to do that, both, and I'm going to walk away. And so micro-incrementally you make things so that you can walk away with integrity, not being a fool, not jumping from one ship to another, walking away so that you can go away individually and find yourself again and reinstate who you really are, get healed and find out, how much damage is actually being done by this abuse. This is provided you've tried to sort things out and now you're dealing with somebody that's just completely someone you don't know anymore. I've seen this, and they'll jump ship pretty quick. They'll find somebody else. That's part of the nature of all this. And you put yourself first, your mental health, your physical health, and never, ever, ever, ever go back.